In this video, I'm going to walk through how I created the top and the base of this container design with the middle clamp. So this would be almost step one. So I'm going to do that, as we see, I have our base on this side, I have our top on the other side, and how did I actually go about doing that? So I'm going to go ahead and scroll my timeline all the way back to the beginning. The first sketch I made with the sizes that we have are block. Now these sizes are kind of arbitrary because I would take a dial caliper to get the exact size of the block, but you could also do that in your toolpath. So either way would work. My suggestion is right now, just to make it easier, make it 4.5 by 3.5 or whatever your sizes are. After I finish that sketch, of course I extruded and I have my entire block that I'm going to deal with. Now I'm going to do subtractive modeling from here on out. Let's look at the first sketch, which is the most important one. There's a lot going on with this sketch, so I'm going to get rid of the constraints to hide some things and even some dimensions so I can see what's going on with the sketch. First thing I did is I drew some construction lines. The one construction line is I did a box around this as a safe zone, so I make sure that I cut some material out. I did a safe zone of 1/8 inch around the whole thing, or offset it. Then I made some center points to be able to use, so I made some more construction lines. I made one that went across the middle, as you can see, on both angle and horizontal and vertical. And we'll be able to use those lines then for any reference or mirroring anything. And then I went ahead and made the outside design. So this design here, the outside of it, I just used an oval and a rectangle and just kind of made a unique design that I had there. The next thing I did is I made my space that I'm going to put in for the base. And so I just created a rectangle, this outside rectangle here, and I added some fillets to it. How big did I make the rectangle? Well, I made it a center point rectangle, so we knew it was in the center, and I got it so it's not too close to this edge, so it wouldn't be, still have some strength to it. And then I went ahead and I offset that to this inside one, and that is where the base is going to be. Now, the key here, and I can inspect this or put a dimension on this, is this dimension right here. This radius dimension right here, as you can see, is 0.125. And that dimension has to be the radius of whatever tool we're using, and we're using a 1/4 inch tool, so that would still work for an inside dimension. If it was any smaller than that, it would not work. So that was key to doing that offset. So that is the key sketch in this entire thing. Spend your time on this sketch. I got rid of some dimensions, but you can see them here. But spend your time on this sketch so you know it's correct and you know that it's what you want it to be. The next step I did after I finished that sketch is I cut out the outside. So I'm actually going to bring this sketch into view for us. And I went ahead and I cut out the outside, as you can see from that sketch. And I went a distance 0.75, I believe. Then I cut out the middle where the actual container base is. And I want to go not as deep as the other one. So I believe I went about 0.6. And the last thing I'm going to do is cut out this portion right here. And we can see that if I hide the sketch a little bit better. And I think I went about 0.25. It's kind of where the lid or the top is going to fit on the base. So that is my entire base. Not too difficult. Start to understand how this is going to work. I'm going to swing this around. So to go on the, before I do that, I noticed something right when I did this, which is okay. And what I noticed is these spots right here are inside corners. So it's impossible for a round bit to make that, the inside corner here. So what I did is I went ahead and I filleted those edges before I copied it to their side. And all those edges got a fillet on it, even the outside ones, because I thought it looked a little bit better so it wouldn't be so sharp. And that is my finished base. The next thing I did is I created a sketch on the other side, as we will see here. And the only thing about this sketch that I needed was I projected the geometry, the entire geometry of the other side, to project it over here. So let's take a closer look at that. I projected all that geometry, all right? But the real key, and I'm going to activate the sketch so we can see real close here. The real key here is I went ahead and I offset the outside where the base is going to, or the top is going to fit on the base. I offset that little portion. If I zoom in, you'll see that that offset is really close. And so I use the offset tool to offset it outward 0.002. And so if that is offset is 0.002, in order to make sure that I selected the correct extrusion, I went ahead and I deleted a couple lines. I deleted a line here, and I could even delete a line on the inside portion there too. And what that did is it guaranteed that I would select the correct shape there. After finishing that sketch, I went ahead and I extruded just that portion, the outside portion first, to match the other one, and then that inside one that I created. So you can see, so I can hide that to make sure that this piece fits on the other one. And you can actually check that by highlighting it just like this and going to the front. And if I zoom in on this, you will see that that's just a little bit bigger than the other piece, so we know it's going to fit on there. But later on, we'll prove that it fits on there in a drawing sheet on our title block. So that is how I created step 1 of the container